Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Nikki and I channel messages from film and TV shows using tarot and oracle cards, and sometimes also songs or books if spirit is calling me to do so. For today's video, I will be collaborating here with the Mermaid of Lemuria. So many of you may have a connection to Lemuria from past lives. It's a place that exudes a lot of divine feminine energy, and that is what this video is primarily for. A lot of channeled messages coming through for the divine feminine collective. So I would like to read a little bit about the Mermaid of Lemuria from the guidebook here, from the Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians Oracle card deck, just so we can tap into the energy of the Mermaid of Lemuria before we start the reading here. It says, Lemuria was a light-centered civilization where the peaceful inhabitants maintained an exceptionally pure connection to the divine. Lemurian knowledge was embedded within crystals, stones, plants, and the ocean. Mer people were an extension of the water element, vibrating to a note of pure joy. The mermaids carried the fluidity of the divine feminine and were expert at balancing energy through play, relaxation, dance, creative movement, and sound healing. They freely expressed their carefree love of life. That's very beautiful. And I actually had a movie in mind for this video, and that is the movie that we will be pulling messages from today. It is the 1985 film, The Legend of Billie Jean, directed by Matthew Robbins, starring Helen Slater, Christian Slater, Yeardley Smith, and Martha Gayman. And the synopsis for the movie is, average Texas teen Billie Jean Davy is caught up in an odd fight for justice. She is usually followed and harassed by local boys, who one day decide to trash her brother's scooter for fun. The boy's father refuses to pay them back the price of the scooter. The fight for fair is fair takes the teens around the state and produces an unlikely hero. And when I pulled out the Gods, Guardians, and Goddesses deck here for to see who I would be working with, the Mermaid of Lemuria flew right out of the deck. And I was like, that is so perfect, because I was feeling the energy of divine feminine energy, divine feminine messages coming through. And I'm just so excited to be working with her today. And just so you know, when it comes to divine feminine and divine masculine energy, those are not specified in terms of gender. They are solely energies that we each have within us. And regardless of how anyone identifies, there is always an energy that we tend to lead more with. But there are also many souls who incarnated that have both of these energies very balanced within them to begin with. So we all have different ways of utilizing these energies within us. So just wanted to say, if however you identify and you're here to receive a message, just know that there is a message here for you, and it does not matter which energy you happen to lead more with, okay? So to start off the reading, the first card that we have is Animal. And this is a horror oracle deck that I just got. I'm so excited. And this card is from the movie Wolfman. Animal. So with this card, I'm first drawn to the woman on the card here. She appears to be very scared. And the Wolfman here seems to be leering in her direction, right? And an energy that I was picking up on in the collective is that divine feminines are healing from fears that stem from wounded masculine energy right now. There is a lot of distrust towards the masculine because of karmic cycles and patterns that have taken place in the past. And in the movie, The Mermaid of Lemuria is showing me Billie Jean Davy, played by Helen Slater, and her brother Binks Davy, played by Christian Slater. In the beginning, Billie Jean is riding with Binks on his scooter as they want to go swimming at the local lake. So on the way there, they stop to get a milkshake and are taunted by a group of guys, one of which is Hubie Pyatt, played by Barry Tubb. Hubie hits on Billie Jean, and Binks stands up for her by throwing a milkshake in his face. Then they proceed to go to the lake to go swimming, and while they're there, Hubie and his gang show up and steal Binks' scooter. Later that evening, Billie Jean goes to the police and reports the scooter missing, and the cop, Lieutenant Larry Ringwald, who is played by Peter Coyote, tells her to wait it out and see if things resolve. So he isn't really much help at all. And when Billie Jean goes back home, she finds that Binks has been beaten up and also that his scooter is severely damaged. The next day, they find out that it will cost $608 to repair the scooter. So they all go to Hubie's father's store to speak with him and ask for the money. His name is Pyatt, and he is played by Richard Bradford in the movie, okay? So Billie Jean goes into the store by herself and asks Pyatt for the money. And at first he appears very helpful and understanding, but then he tells Billie Jean he will give her the money, but that she needs to come upstairs with him to get it because he doesn't keep that kind of cash in the register. And you can tell in this moment she is so reluctant, but she goes upstairs with him anyway. And this is where his energy changes. He throws $50 down and says that she is going to do a layaway plan with him and that she will earn the rest as she does what he wants. She says no, and this is when he tries to sexually assault her. She breaks away, and her brother has actually come into the store with a gun. And this is the moment where he accidentally shoots Pyatt, and they all flee, and this is what begins their journey for justice and running from the police. So with Animal coming out in the collective reading here, Pyatt came at Billie Jean much like an animal, like she was a piece of meat and not a human being. So I feel that many of my divine feminines listening have experienced something similar where you have felt the same way. And I'm here to tell you that if you experience unwanted attention from someone, it is 100% okay to set a boundary. Protect your energy. Block, unfollow, ignore, or even just walk away. You do not have to speak to someone just to be nice. If you feel uncomfortable, acknowledge your emotions and honor them. And I am referring to any human regardless of how they identify in terms of gender. If anyone makes you feel uncomfortable, honor how you feel and shut the door of interacting with these people. Now, I'm not saying to just be mean to someone, okay? I'm saying if you feel any unease or uncomfortable feelings around someone, listen to them. Because keeping the door open with someone who makes you feel uncomfortable will lead to more interactions with them. Shut the door and keep the door closed. Also, one of my favorite YouTubers, Aaron Doughty, teaches a technique called the frame technique. And all you do is you sit and stare at a candle flame for about 5 or 10 minutes, or however long you feel called to do so. But this technique is very powerful because it helps you feel safe within your own body and within your own frame. And it helps you feel more safe in your environment because you're focusing on feeling safe within yourself. So it's crucial to feel safe in your own body. And this is a must-have technique, especially for empaths who absorb energy like a sponge. We have illness. And this card is actually from the movie Cujo. Okay, so with this card, the Mermaid of Lemuria is showing me how many in the collective are working through karmic patterns of child abuse. And in the film, Billie Jean cuts her hair in a very similar fashion to the woman on the card here. It looks pretty similar. And she also helps a young boy who looks very similar to the young boy on the card here. And an interesting thing happens when Billie Jean goes on the run. She actually becomes a celebrity super quick. And people are rooting for her because she wasn't afraid to speak her truth and stand up to Pyatt. People feel her authenticity and unconditional love. And Billie Jean embodies the true essence of balanced masculine and feminine energy. And she is an ultimate light worker in this movie. In one scene, she is sitting in a car, and a group of children approach her asking if she is in fact Billie Jean. And they tell her their friend Kenny, played by Bobby Jones, is in trouble. So this group of children lead her to Kenny's home. And as they stand outside, they can hear things being smashed inside the home. And this is where Billie Jean treads very carefully as she makes her way inside the house, but she lets herself in very discreetly and very carefully. Once she's in there, she sees that crouched behind the front door is a frightened Kenny. And Kenny's father, played by John M. Jackson, is sitting at the kitchen table. And he asks Billie Jean who she is. So it's in this moment that you can see there is high levels of abuse taking place. And it's a very difficult situation. But after he asks her who she is, this scene is so, so powerful. And it's because it's in the sense that she doesn't even have to speak any words to him. Her energy speaks for itself. And all the children that came with her, they start crowding around the house and the yard, and they stand at the windows peering in. And this is when Kenny's father realizes who Billie Jean really is, and this is when his energy shifts. He welcomes her into his home, asks her if she wants anything to eat or drink, and in the very next scene, Billie Jean leaves the house with Kenny and lets the other children know that Kenny will be staying with his grandmother. It's a very, very powerful scene. And when I was watching this movie again, this scene actually made me very emotional because I could see that Billie Jean was a true queen who handled a very difficult situation with her energy and her presence. It was her presence that was her power. And the situation was neutralized into a peaceful solution. And it was very beautiful. And many of the divine feminines here exude this energy as well. Your presence is your power, and your energy speaks for you. I'm also being shown how you have been in some very difficult situations that led to peaceful solutions. And this is because your high vibrational energy helped to neutralize the situation. This is how powerful you are, okay? I also feel many of you are fierce protectors of children, and I see the powerful healing you are doing. I also hear many of you saying, this cycle ends with me. You refuse to let a toxic pattern continue within yourself and in your lineage. And whatever it is you're doing, it is working. Your ability to remain neutral in difficult situations is serving you well. You are shifting paradigms quickly and ending karmic cycles because you're learning how your perception affects your reality. You've recognized your power from within and that no one has the ability to take your power away any longer. And you are also finding your voice. Keep going, my friend. Door to personal healing and happiness. Yes, these cycles that you are completing are opening many doors for you. You are letting go of all the blockages that have prevented your blessings from coming in. Many of you have felt tested by the universe lately as well, and you have come into the knowledge that unconditional love always passes any test the universe may throw our way. And the inner healing that you have done is bringing happiness and new opportunities in. I do feel that the bulk of your healing has been through the mother line of your lineage. From the movie, The Mermaid of Lemuria showing me Putter, played by Yeardley Smith, and she is a friend who goes on the run along with Billie Jean, her brother, and another friend, Ophelia, played by Martha Gayman. And there's one scene in particular where they're all involved in a car chase scene. And during the chaos, Putter starts her period in the car. Binks, who is Billie Jean's brother, is grossed out by this. But Billie Jean tells him to be quiet and that it's beautiful that Putter has become a woman now. Billie Jean gave divine mother love to Putter at this moment. And it's interesting because in a later scene when Putter gets taken in by the police, her mother, played by Janet Smalley, walks right up to her and smacks her in the face. So we are shown how Putter has had a difficult relationship with her mom. But with Billie Jean, she felt loved and nurtured. Billie Jean helped give her the confidence to love herself, and also gave her the love that her own mother could not give to her. So I do feel a lot of you also had a difficult relationship with your mom or a mother figure of some sort growing up. And with the door to personal healing and happiness showing up in your reading here, this door is opening up for you because of the healing you are doing or have done or will do. And because you're doing this healing, you are also manifesting healthy friendships and relationships into your life. You are nurturing yourself and cultivating more self-love from within. Or your guides are helping you learn how to do this. And when we do this, our soul family comes into our life. So if you've been looking for your soul family, they will manifest into your life as you continue to say yes to things that make you happy. Choosing yourself over connections that no longer serve you shows the universe you are serious and not messing around when it comes to who you allow into your life. The door is open for you. You just have to keep walking through it. It's also important to remember that you are the hero of your journey. So when you feel lonely, that emotion of loneliness is telling you that it's you who you've been looking for. And when you give yourself that love, that's when loving connections begin manifesting. Also, cut cords with those who no longer serve you. This makes space for new energy and people to enter your life. First chakra, Archangel Michael. This card represents the root chakra. So balancing this chakra would be beneficial at this time for you as well. And also doing the frame technique I mentioned earlier. This will help balance your root chakra because it will help you feel safe within your own body. And I'm actually going to link the video that Aaron created for that down below for your reference if you would like to check it out. He does an amazing job at explaining how to do it and what benefits you receive from it. I also feel that some of you may also be working with Archangel Michael right now. And he is so amazing when you call upon him, when you want to cut attachments from your energetic field. He's also an archangel of truth and justice. So I feel some of you have had some fears around speaking your truth, or perhaps the truth around something. And I'm being shown the scene in the movie where Billie Jean and her gang find a house to hide out in. They don't realize that the son of the home is actually at home. His name is Lloyd, and he is played by Keith Gordon. The gang befriends him right away, and they find out he is a filmmaker. Billie Jean says she would like to create a video so the world knows the truth. And right after she cuts her hair, she sits down in front of the camera and says, "I'm Billie Jean Davy, and I want to set the record straight." Then she speaks her truth and demands the money for the scooter be given to them because fair is fair. So the Mermaid of Lemuria is showing me you are learning to own your voice, but are also dealing with some fears around doing so. But she also wants you to know that when you do speak your truth, people do listen to you. The way you do so is authentic and genuine, and people feel that energy from you. I'm also being shown how people gravitate to Billie Jean. No one really believed the fake news stories about her because her energy spoke for itself. And so does your energy. So whatever you need to communicate, do not settle for less. Speak up with love and be heard. And healing your throat chakra would also help if you haven't already done that. Don't call it a dream, call it a plan. The Mermaid of Lemuria is now showing me that it's time to create a plan for your dreams. And many of you are stuck in this area, I feel. The universe wants to co-create with you, but can only do so if you have a plan in place that you take consistent, inspired action on. I'm also hearing that meditation will bring through awesome ideas at this time if you are having trouble creating a plan for yourself. And from the movie specifically, I'm being shown Lloyd. He had aspirations to be a filmmaker, so perhaps that is a dream of yours as well. But in order to make a movie, you have to actually create a plan and film one. And this goes for any passion in the world. You must create a plan with actionable steps and goals and follow through on them. So for those of you who love film, I'm also seeing that watching films that inspire you would get some ideas flowing. I'm being shown how in the movie Billie Jean was watching a movie about Joan of Arc. And when she's watching this movie, she is immersed in this film. The way that she watches it is what being inspired looks like. It empowers her so much that she's able to take steps on the next part of her journey. So watching movies or reading books that inspire you or doing anything that inspires you will also activate more cool ideas within you. But you must take action so the universe can help bring resources and people to help you with your vision. The Mermaid of Lemuria is also suggesting to create in a quiet place without distractions. You won't be able to create from a flow state if you keep getting interrupted. Eliminate distractions while you create so you can hear your intuition loud and clear in the stillness. Chaotic energy, loud spaces, and scrolling on your phone will prevent you from creating. Set a time for yourself to create and stick to it. Because if you can't show up for yourself, your dreams cannot show up for you either. Don't decide that you can't before you discover that you can. So yeah, The words we speak to ourselves matter. Do not speak defeat over your dreams. I do feel that you are in a tough cycle right now, but every single cycle we experience in life is a higher opportunity. Perhaps the situation you're in at this exact moment contains an idea for your creative expression. And if you are aware of the cycle, this is the first step toward healing and integrating it. So with your card here, I feel this is the cycle of thoughts in your mind that have been telling you that you cannot do something. This is an opportunity to start telling yourself that you can and ignore the thoughts that tell you that you can't. In this movie, there is not one moment where Billie Jean speaks defeat over herself. She faces whatever is thrown at her. I'm actually being shown the scene in the mall where Pyatt is there with the money for the scooter that his son destroyed. He tricks her into believing that he's going to give her the money, and then his son Hubie jumps out and tries to grab her. She kicks him in the nuts and then runs back up the escalator. And it's this really cool scene where Billy Idol's Rebel Yell plays. It's really cool. And I love that song. And I can actually imagine that she was probably feeling fear at that moment. But she proved to herself repeatedly in this movie how strong she was. I also feel the energy of having to backtrack with something. Just like Billie Jean had to change direction and backtrack back up the escalator, there was a higher purpose that ultimately leads to the ending of this movie. So the Mermaid of Lemuria is saying that sometimes 2 steps back is what is required to leap 10 steps ahead. There is opportunity in backtracking sometimes. Choose to see the opportunities and blessings in setbacks. And sometimes setbacks are tests from the universe to see if we will choose to continue to make progress or continue to make excuses. The activated ally. When you move forward with your authentic truth, the universe brings resources and people to help support you. Your allies will be activated as you move forward with faith in the pursuit of your dreams. I'm being shown how so many people help Billie Jean on her journey. There's actually a sequence in the film where she gets separated from her gang, and many people start showing up to help her, literally out of nowhere. And she has gained a huge circle of influence with people that many actually start to dress like her and also cut their hair like her. They all take turns picking her up in cars and giving her places to stay to help keep her safe. Her allies were activated because of her authentic truth. There's even one scene where she's taken to this place where people cheer for her as she walks down the stairs. Your allies will be activated as well as you keep following your truth. Also, people that you personally look up to do represent your golden shadow. So when you operate from the highest version of yourself, these people that you look up to reflect your own inner light back at you. And I love that. But I also feel that you love it when people are authentic to themselves as well. And I see that you promote this authenticity within others. You are not someone who wants followers. You are someone who helps to create other leaders. Trust and act accordingly. One of the biggest messages we receive from the spirit world is to trust and have faith. The Mermaid of Lemuria is bringing the same message. The message of trust here is in regards to you speaking the truth about something, and thus allowing others to see the truth as well. You will have more support than you believe you will. At the end of the movie, Billie Jean faces Pyatt, who tried to sexually assault her in the beginning. She walks through his store, seeing that he has been profiting off of her by selling pictures and clothing with her picture on them. And when he sees her, he grabs the money that she has been asking for and gives it to her. A crowd of people actually start to gather around them as they have this interaction. And she calls his ass out in front of everyone and tells them how he tried to sexually assault her. She throws the money back at him and tells him to go buy someone else right before kicking him in the nuts. And as he falls over, he knocks over one of the torches and a massive fire ignites. And the people in the crowd want no part of the clothing and merchandise that they purchased from his shop. So they begin throwing everything they bought into the fire. And it's a very metaphorical scene because there's this huge statue of Billie Jean that ignites into flames, much like what happened to Joan of Arc in the film she watched earlier. And Joan of Arc also represents speaking truth. So whatever your truth is, trust that it's all going to work out as you speak up. This is the lifetime of ultimate protection. Nothing and no one can touch you. I also feel a strong energy of inner child healing. So speaking to the child within you and letting them know it's safe to speak up, to create and be seen in the world, and that you have their back no matter what, and that you love them unconditionally. This really brings ultimate healing. And when your inner child feels safe, they will begin to communicate more with you by helping you remember your creative and playful side. There is magic within you that wants to be shared in the world. Play, explore, dance, create, and speak your truth. Trust that it is safe for you to do so. Wow, beautiful messages coming through from the Mermaid of Lemuria from the 1985 film, The Legend of Billie Jean. Thank you so much for being here. I am grateful to be able to bring messages to you in this way. Also, thank you for supporting, liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you all so much. I love you all so much. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.